What's good people? Welcome to hashtag my Be More project. What's the 410? Where we stand in the gap of the news you can use and the positive stories our spirits need. I'm your host, Dion Joyner Wing. Like a tribe called Quest, you got to say it all together. And though I wear many hats, they all sit on top of the same mission to uplift, amplify, and empower truth tellers and change makers on the ground. Now, whether that's through hashtag my Be More project, what's the 410, my book, That Part, what some know but won't tell you about motherhood, or as the Chief Energy Officer of Audacity Group, a global brand shop for bold ideas. We tell dope, bold stories. And we learned in 2022, after a listening session, we learned what most people like you and I already know. We trust people more than we do a system. And that's why we have conversations with people on the ground doing the work, like today's amazing guest, Daisy Brown, Baltimore photographer, storyteller, and she keeps our city thriving. Daisy, can we bring her up?
No.
Okay. Daisy, I'm nervous only because of how excited I am. I'm excited about the work that you do. So I wanted to do your bio, but the bio is kind of like a verbal flowers. So are you ready for it?
Yep.
Okay. Daisy Brown sees the world through a lens of love, loss, and legacy. A Baltimore native raised in Sandtown-Winchester, she is a self-taught photographer and storyteller whose images honor the beauty, pain, and persistence of everyday people. As staff photographer for the Peel, Baltimore's community museum, her work has graced exhibitions like Dark Beauty, celebrating women of color in their fullest light. Beyond the frame, Daisy is an advocate for caregivers, work born from her own experience, caring for both of her parents with grace and grit. Through her art and her heart, she reminds us that caring is its own form of creation, and that every portrait she captures is really a prayer for dignity, aging, and love that endures. Daisy, is that fair?
Yeah.
Oh, Daisy! Don't. Oh gosh, don't. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Daisy, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
Okay.
We'll get into the interview questions, but this is why we do this part. So before we get to the questions,
Got
we
it.
have this segment called They Ate, right? It's to give our listeners and viewers a taste of the personality behind the profession. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 8 rapid fire questions. Don't
Which is 8 is my favorite number, but go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So you ready? You ready
Right.
for it? Crab cake, fried or broiled?
Fried.
Nickname your parents or friends used to call you?
Still do candy.
Candy? Okay. Name one song on your Get Pumped, Amp, Fired Up playlist. What you putting on when Daisy need to get?
Lovely Day, Bill Weathers.
Love you. Choose one. Black and white or color?
Black and white.
Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
Absolutely.
If your life were an album cover photo,
Oof.
what would it be?
Jeez. My God. I guess sitting with trees.
Daisy
Nature.
with trees. I love it with nature. Name one item in your camera bag that might surprise people.
Ooh.
What
Lipstick.
you carry that you don't know you carry?
Lipstick.
In her camera bag. Last question. If you had 25 hours in a day, what would you do with that extra hour?
Ooh, travel with my family.
Beautiful. All right, people. Daisy ate. She ate. Rapid fire done. She did it. All right, let's jump right into the conversation, Daisy, okay? All right, you grew up in West Baltimore and started taking pictures very young. What was the first image or a moment that made you realize that, you know what, this camera, this is my tool for truth. This ain't a hobby. This is my truth.
um, it was when I was sort of like a young adult, when I was really paying attention to what I was taking versus just snapping pictures. I went to a conference in Ocean City, and we were able to stay at a hotel on the waterfront. And so I took a big picture of these rocks on the sand and the water, and I did it in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that time, people, I was using film. I
Hmm.
started out using film from early on. So I was using film at the time, and I did it in black and white. And so when I got the pictures back, and I'm like, oh my God, I do have an eye.
You do have an eye.
And that was it.
That was it.
That was
Wow.
it.
Um, you're and I'd love to actually hear your definition for self-taught artist, but you're a self-taught artist whose work has been found, like you found a home at the Peel,
Mm-hmm.
right? Baltimore Community Museum. How has being a part of the institution deepened your connection to storytelling and history?
Ooh, access.
Go
Um,
deep.
growing up, it's a culture thing with the black families. We just take pictures. We just
We,
take pictures. We never knew that we could do anything with it. You didn't know that you could use it as an art. You didn't think of it as an art. You
mm-mm,
didn't think you can do and make a living with it. So, all the way through up through high school, it was just something that you did and you shared, but nobody told you that you could do something with it.
mhm,
So when I got to the appeal 6 years ago, actually, um, I was telling them, self-taught, and I know I can do pictures better than what they had at the time.
mhm.
I couldn't promise it, but I knew I could do better.
Come on.
So there's like, let's give you a shot doing, just the basic things, see how that goes, and in between you could do photography. And I did that within 6 months, I want to say. I became the staff photographer. Um, I was just taking pictures for events in the museum. And then one day our director said, we have a documentary. We're partnering with someone that's doing a documentary on Squeegee Boys. And would you like to do the photography? They need somebody to do behind the scenes still photography. And I'm like, never done that before. And so that was my first sort of like official gig ever.
Mhm.
To do still photography. I did that in black and white. And that just kind of like the floodgates just opened into motivating me to venture out more.
Daisy, you're actually, because I'm thinking about the first time that I met you, which was many, many, many
Many
years
years.
ago. But as I'm thinking about how your life has changed over those many, 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 many years, it makes me believe that Daisy does not shy away from leaning in.
No.
Like, could you, what have been some of those character traits do you feel like that have gotten you to where you are today?
I think just slowly, gradually connecting and putting myself out there. I've been a shy, believe it or not, person most of my life growing up. And so it took a lot. So the camera gave me sort of that bravery
Yeah. Okay.
to take the pictures. And I didn't have to really necessarily communicate with people at that time.
Mm.
So my love started to, for lack of a better word, develop.
Pun intended. I like it. I love a good pun. Yes.
So I take your picture of different things. So a lot of people don't know is I have a deep love of architecture. And so growing up in Baltimore City, we have a plethora
Come
of
on.
historical buildings. And, we don't have money to go anywhere. You're walking around downtown looking at the buildings while standing on the bus stop. So
No, you're so right, Daisy. You are.
you,
I
you,
get
you
that.
just, so that was it. That was it. It was like taking pictures of the church on the corner up the street from my house, the playground, the street. When I go down to Lexington Market with my mom on the number one bus, you know,
No, yo,
standing around looking at the buildings, I just
that's
took a
crazy.
picture of what I saw.
Daisy, I am sitting here, I'm thinking about um so going to I went to Western High School, so I would have to catch the 23 downtown Saratoga and Howard to catch the light rail. And then sometimes I'm catching the 15 from Saratoga and Howard. And I would just look at the big, it was a nightclub. It once was a bank, and then it turned into a nightclub, and then
Yeah,
to another nightclub, and then to another nightclub. But the structure, I
yeah,
remember just sitting on the bus stop like that that looks heavy. Whatever it is they made that whole thing of.
yeah.
But I never, now I guess it's through your lens and through your eyes that I'm seeing what our youth are seeing as they're just walking through their city. And I'm wondering, did they take on the same beauty or appreciation of the architecture?
I don't think they realize it because we're so. Um, I don't think people really take in how beautiful Baltimore is and what we have that other places do not. Is right in front of your face.
Do you feel more because we're both, West Siders, like it just is
Yeah.
what it is, right? Do you feel a certain responsibility or charge because you are from a part of the city that has been long, the narrative has been focused on, being historically oppressed, but to come out with such talent, beauty, and art, do you feel a responsibility to show up this way or to capture these things?
I never looked at it as a responsibility, but subconsciously growing up, I lived on Fulton and Riggs Avenue. Um, but growing up, once you go outside your door, you see the same people when you're going out as you saw coming in. And so subconsciously in my soul, it was like I wanted to be the example of leave your stoop and venture out.
Understood.
You don't have to stay there just because that's all we have.
Right.
A lot of people they meet me, they're like, they don't even think I'm from Baltimore
I understand. Yeah.
because of the exposure my family gave me, my parents gave me. I always went beyond the stoop.
Understood.
So I
Understood.
try to lead by example without saying any words. I just did it consistently every day. Either I'm going to school, I'm going to work, I'm going somewhere, but I'm not just sitting there day and night,
Yeah.
just hoping that something comes past.
That's interesting because as I think about dark beauty
Mm.
and your intention, I would love for you to share with those listening and watching this exhibition, what it means and what conversations have come from lifting up women as they talk about their shades, the shades and what life brought to them based off of the hue of their skin, what
Mm.
stories were revealed. So if you could please take us through, why did you do this exhibition? Where is it going? And what has surprised you about this work, this project?
Yeah, I it started out being, but now it has evolved into a project and a movement. So it's growing without me even controlling.
Yes, ma'am. That's how
But
movements go.
right. So I started it because myself being a dark skinned woman, growing up, I was faced with things where I didn't realize it was based on my skin complexion. And thank God for a loving family. I never knew, what unfortunately some others may have been exposed to because they were the dark skin
Yes.
in their family. Um, I was the extreme opposite. I was called princess. I was called
Mm.
chocolate baby. I was called beautiful, like all these things before affirmations, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
were
understood.
a thing.
Yeah.
It was just something that was poured into you. It wasn't, a label. And so the only time that I knew or realized these things were, or I was, as some of my models or beauties would say, other. I didn't know it was an other until I got into school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that outside world that was trying to make me feel like, you're nice for a dark skinned girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're cool as a friend, you're sweet and all the things, all the things. And mind you, I had all the attributes of a growing young woman,
Yes, ma'am.
but I was just dark skinned. And that was it. So when I got into my early 30s, I want to say, they started doing, um, showing dark skin models. And when I say dark, I mean like completely darker than dark, but extremely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely beautiful, flawless skin. And I looked
Mm-hmm.
into the mirror one day as an adult. I looked in the mirror one day and I'm like, oh my God, I am not black. I'm dark chocolate.
Oh,
Like literally, like yesterday, it was just like for the longest time growing up, you were literally labeled as black, like your street, like your shirt.
yeah, correct. But there are hues
So
and shades and colors
it's
and
but with our culture, it's one or the other. Either you're light skinned or you're dark, or you're not even dark, you're just black.
black.
So just like someone that had a food disorder, you know, and they have a thing with food, once they lose the weight, they still have a problem gripping with the fact that they are not as big as they were before.
Mm-hmm.
I've been always told that I was black.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize that I literally thought in my mind that I was black, like your shirt,
Understood. I
like
understand you.
the paint. So I have a love hate relationship with the word black.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
to my mind, black is my culture, but not
Mm-hmm.
my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to finally, with a lot of encouragement from people like you,
Let me tell you something. Jimmy Brown over here, dark brown, talk about it, talk about it. I'm one of those dark skinned beauties. In Daisy's exhibition, you will hear my story. But
exactly. But they were like, you need to do this.
yeah,
People need to hear this story, even though it's been told 10,000 times over. I believe the way that I am sharing it and translating it, because it's not me, it's the people that are telling the story. I'm not changing anything. I'm not giving you a script. What do you want people to know?
gosh, as you're speaking to me, I'm not sure how many people, and Daisy, we've had this conversation. Growing up, my uncle introduced me to Larry Poncho Brown.
Yes, I am very
And
well.
it was I was in middle school and I had the poster. I had the printed poster of the Shades of Darkness or it was the
Yes.
Shades of, and it was just women of different hues of
Mm-hmm.
blackness all shaped together. And I never thought about how I would wake up every morning and see that poster. I'd come home every day and see
Mm-hmm.
that poster. I'd look and just it's almost our skin. Sometimes I just want to take a cup, just a scoop here. Like it's scoopable. Our beauty, our
Yes,
beauty is scoopable.
it's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
But to your point, before there were affirmations, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just your family pouring love into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which that love, when met with the negative narrative, you had a response. It's like, I hear what it is that you're saying to me, but what I
Yeah.
feel and what I've been made to believe, you
Yes.
are not in agreement.
Exactly.
But it starts at home, or it starts in your it starts at home, your community, your tribe. So the way that you just painted that picture, I can see that from my own standpoint, and welcome anyone that's, listening, to take that step back. When thinking about, the power of visibility and self-love,
Hmm.
how much would you say those two themes show up in your work, being seen and self-love?
Um, I think it shows up very strongly in every woman that is portrayed in their own version.
Mm,
And the beautiful thing about meeting everyone, or if I already know them, when I'm taking the pictures, I'm having conversations behind the camera. So you don't hear that, you just see what comes from that.
correct.
So what happens is the development of that image from those conversations is translated in that print
Hmm.
or in that photo. And so you'll see it in their eyes, you'll see it in their body language, you'll see it how they hold their head, you'll see how you can literally see them thinking sometimes.
Yes.
And it's like something turned on that they're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize what's been going on all this time until somebody said, how do you feel?
Damn, Daisy, that I'm sitting here thinking about, and it's amazing. It feels like the people that work with people, you wind up becoming your own a therapist for them. So I'm curious to know from you, how do you, as a photographer, to capture such tenderness and emotional weight,
Mm-hmm.
how do you hold space for these stories and yourself? I mean, your process, as you're processing and listening and
Yeah.
giving back with your own story, how do you hold space for all of that?
God, number one, because I would not even try to have ventured again, as you know, if it was by my own thoughts and
Understood.
my own doing. So faith and the belief that, all right, I'm going to step out, Lord. I'm getting ready to do it.
Amen. Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, I can't do this on my own. Like all this self taught and everything, that isn't me. Because if I had to choose it, I would run the other way
Hmm. Hmm.
because I don't know what's going to happen until it happens. But I think the growing up and being taught about being empathetic to individuals and others, no matter the background. And I've been brought up consistently, thoroughly in that mindset. So I don't know how to think no other way. There is no struggle in between how do I keep myself grounded while trying to be compassionate with those that I work with. I just see me in them. And as I'm doing this with them, I'm healing in the process in real time. And that's the only way I can explain it.
And I mean, you've explained it well, because I'm thinking about just words that you've used, love, labor, legacy, and it brings me to, and being an empathetic person and knowing that this was taught to you from your family, it brings me back to your role as a caregiver
Hmm.
for your family.
Yeah.
Um, so if you could speak to us about how does art translate, or is it life through art, or art through
Yeah,
life?
I know what you're going.
But that role of a caregiver, but knowing that you've always, kept that space, how, explain to me, how do you push forward with this in the world of caregiving?
Yeah.
Explain to us how it has impacted you and your love, labor, and legacy. You're striving for those three.
Honestly, photography. Photography and documenting the journey as it started and as it's still going on has been my vessel. Even though I use it as a part of my art, because, like you said, it's also hard work. So this is just an extension of who I am. It's not who I aim to be. It's just who I am.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
walk around with a camera in my purse
Got
like
you.
it's makeup.
I hear you. Okay.
you know,
Okay.
and so doing the documentary with Dark Beauty, with permission from my mom and dad verbally, I asked them would they mind if I documented. I used to do it all the time, so they know what to expect from me. Like I'm always the person with the video camera,
Yep. Yeah.
but but this was like a different type of situation where it's a little bit more personal. But it was something like, if I don't do it, no one's going to see that they're the only ones that's going through this. Unfortunately, in the Black family, especially depending on the generations, we're taught not to discuss certain things.
What happens in the house stays in the house.
And it don't even have to be verbalized. It's just a knowledge. Your understand is there's an understanding that you just it's your business. We do not share this. We do not share that. We do not share this. And I'm like, I can't do it. If it's okay with you, do you mind if I photograph these aspects that we're dealing with? Do you mind talking about it? Do you mind if I video your therapy sessions or when you're coming out of surgery? Enough where somebody else can say, oh my God, this is not scripted. This is my mother, my father. This could be my grandfather, my grandmother. This could be my uncle, my aunt. But when you see it, you see yourself. And in my work as a whole, that's what I want people to see and take away from. Like, if you see it, you're going to be able to relate or connect one way or another. So that actually saved my mental documenting and photographing. And the second project is called The Caregivers. Um, Sort of the same in the way of doing Dark Beauty. I've been doing video, photograph, and in the hospital, at home, learning how to walk again, all those things I've been capturing and putting together so that somebody can feel like I don't have to suffer.
May I ask you to one, define caregiver, and for you to share how did your parents receive? I understand they were used to you, but for anyone else who is in the position of caregiving for their parents and they're looking for tools to make it easier and to hold as you're doing, it's like an archive of holding on to the story.
Mm.
How is that received, Daisy? And can you take us through what that experience was?
Um, I want to say it's been about 3 years officially and consistently being in that position, along with my siblings. So it's not just me, but I have a older sister and an older brother. So we spread things out so it doesn't feel too heavy on one or the other.
Good.
Um, which is another important thing that people should know. If you have somebody, spread it out. Don't feel like you need to do all of it by yourself because it does not work. Um, and like I said, I talked to them about doing this with them because it is a personal matter. It's not a subject where someone that I don't know or I'm just doing this for a project, but this is hitting home. And if it's going to hit home for me, it's going to hit home for them
Right. Mm.
and the other family members that's a part of it. And I'm like, not for nothing, but it's also, like I said, it's an archive of seeing how far they've come in their medical journey.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives them a reminder to motivate them to keep going.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Even especially when they get into their mindset that I'm never going to be able to do what I used to do before. I'm never going to be able to fix my own dinner for the family like I used to before. But when you see yourself coming from ICU, shock trauma, to fixing black eyed peas on the stove for the New Year's Eve tradition,
Yeah,
that's powerful.
it is. It is.
And that's just through pictures.
Wow, Daisy, I'm sitting here so not to, just like we said, what happens in the family stays, what happens in the house stays in the house. Where you and I, there are a number of places in which we overlap, but the love of our parents and what they gave to us is something that connected us.
Mm-hmm.
The transition of your father, I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious. I've We've lost our fathers around the same period, so I'm 7 months in to
Yeah.
not having my daddy
Yeah.
here. And to be fair, I have a video of him in the hospital when we were working on him, standing up, and I was cheering him on, and I had Eminem, Lose Yourself, because he loved that song.
Yeah.
Daddy, and I'm like, come on, Daddy. But to look at that video now,
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's here.
Yes.
I'm asking you, as the child of parents who are aging, my
Mm-hmm.
mother, my father's gone, how do you do it? How do you allow those stories and memories to keep you, to fuel you to go forward versus to freeze you in time because they're not there any longer?
It's really hard because uh I am the vault for the family. And all the things that I've taken way before they got to this point up until now is on this computer.
Yeah.
So every time I have to go through images for projects or whatever, it
It's
comes across whether I want to or not.
yeah.
And it's like it forces you to see it and it forces you to feel it. And I give myself that moment. I stop, I pause, I reflect, but I don't allow it to consume. And the most important thing is to acknowledge it, see it, feel all the things, the good and the bad. Because when I tell you, I get pissed, forget angry. I
Oh,
get pissed because my dad was in the household for all of their 60 years of marriage. So I never knew what it was to grow up without either parent. So they literally would have to transition, you know,
I'm
to
serious.
see what it's like not to have a two-parent home. Like I never knew what that looked like growing up. Like all of my friends did, but I never understood how that felt. It was there, even if it wasn't, something that you wanted, as growing up as kids, sometimes we don't feel like being bothered with our parents.
Yep, yep, yep,
But they were still there whether you wanted
yep,
to or not. So what you gonna do? But yeah, I got it in my phone. Like you said, I have the last thing that he said to me before he went to hospice, and my niece, bless her heart, recorded this tender moment when he was still lucid. And, we just had this moment before I left the hospital. This is a VA hospital. And he just kept giving me this look like I am daddy's girl. Let's put that through and through. You can't say nothing about his punky. Um,
oh, oh gosh.
you can't say nothing about his punky. And he looked at me And you know, I am my father's daughter. I am him and he is me. And my personality is straight from him. So you see the bubbliness?
Oh yeah.
There's a serious there's a serious side. And when we say what we gotta say, that's it. There's no discussion. That's Arnold Brown, you know.
Come
We say what we
on.
gotta say. If you don't like it, they say you don't like it, lump it.
Yeah. And girl, that's okay. So here we and shouting out, I am Levon Joyner's daughter. Let me tell you, and I walk into these rooms without him physically here, with him spiritually at my back.
Yes.
And even as, and it's okay for the
Mm-hmm.
tears to fall, because we were loved. We were loved fully. We were loved fully. And
Fully.
the
Yeah.
hope is that we will each reach our turn,
Mm-hmm.
leave this earth having left behind that same love and legacy. So and keeping on track with the exchange that you have with folks. I wrote down you've stated a lot of times that portraits are collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
um I would love for you to share a moment when someone you photographed taught you, outside of your parents,
Mm-hmm.
someone you photographed taught you something unexpected about strength or vulnerability.
Ooh, good Lord. There's one that's always stays in my mind. Unplanned, again, organic moment. Um, I was at work and I spotted this dark beauty going to the farmer's market.
Mhm.
And I had to tell someone, could you cover the desk? I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Wow.
So I took my phone at the time and I went over to her and I was like, would you mind if I interview you? This is what I'm doing. Here's my car. I went, this is where I work.
Wow.
You can find me. And I just asked her one or two questions and I was like, what do you feel? How do you feel about your complexion? And she just started, I just let her talk. And then all of a sudden, she froze and she started getting emotional.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh my God. She's like, there's something someone did. And I can't believe I remember this. And I can't even say their name about what they did to me because of my skin. And it was a family member. And it was like that vulnerability. Like, I don't mind sharing my emotions or expressing myself, but that stage of vulnerability that you don't even know is going to happen until
Yeah, it
it
happens.
happens. And I don't think she felt that way until I just said a simple question.
Understood.
And it just turned, and it was just like, allow yourself to be vulnerable, but don't feel ashamed or weak because of what you're sharing.
Mhm.
Who you are is one thing, but be bold
Mhm.
and have the courage to
Mhm.
share all of you
Mm.
because you never know who is going to hit. They don't even know if it's going to hit them until it happens. And that's the beauty of that exchange.
But Daisy, here's what's powerful to me. Um, the fact that the Holy Spirit hit you while sitting at the desk as you saw this woman cross to go to the farmer's market is the Lord making that connection, right? So you're obedient to the voice
Yeah.
and you run and you provided a safe space,
Mm-hmm.
care, and comfort to a complete stranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which is why it was important to have a conversation with you, because it's not just a photograph with Daisy. Like I know for a fact, I cannot name the time because God's ways are beyond my understanding. But for damn sure, you're gonna be on the cover of something, getting mass awards for something. some famous humanitarian artist, something, something is going to have you do like it's already there. And what I want noted is that chick represents Baltimore. That
Absolutely.
walks in the room authentically herself because of the grit and grace of her
Yeah.
city behind her.
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
that, I wanted to know, Baltimore has long been framed,
Mm-hmm.
through struggle.
Yeah.
But your work like insist on, yeah, the struggle's there, but it's dignity and light in this city. So I wanted to know, how do you see your photographs helping to rewrite or own? There's a
Okay.
term, rewrite
Yeah.
or own
Yeah.
Baltimore. Dion is actually more of a own
Yeah.
than rewrite.
Yeah.
So I want to know from you, how do you see photographs helping in that old
Um,
Baltimore's narrative?
my ultimate goal, number one, is to be global.
Yep.
And not for the act of for me, but for us.
See?
Um, I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for the fact of where I was raised,
Yep.
which is why I can connect in every level, from the bottom to the top, to the middle, to whatever. And I feel like that, just like music, photographs has a way of being a universal language.
Correct.
I don't
That's
have
right.
to understand the lick of what you're saying, but something's going to move you in that photograph. Something is going to make you be very curious about where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're opening a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about this place. I never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about what it's like. And the beautiful thing about individuals like us and women like us that were actually born and raised pre and post Freddie Gray,
Yeah.
we have authenticity to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And we say it from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
It's never from a place of escape.
Fair.
You know, I can't wait to leave. You know, I can't
No.
wait to get out of
Uh-uh.
what I can't. And I'm surprised myself that I haven't never felt that way, born and raised in that environment. Like I've seen it all,
Mm-hmm.
but I can honestly say I've never felt that way.
Mm.
Like I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to make it big and move to so and so and become the da 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 da. It was always like I can't wait to visit, but I always want to come back
Come
home.
back. Come back.
I'm coming back home, and not just to visit, to stay.
I hear you.
Like I'm
I,
coming back home.
I hear you. I hear you. Um, may I ask you, and it's kind of bringing back it's not even bringing back, it's knowing that you stand before us as Daisy Brown, a layered individual, right?
Yeah.
So that's all the connecting points. When you imagine the future, what role do you hope artists like yourself will play in shifting how America sees aging, caregiving, and beauty?
Oof. I feel like we need to own our ambassadorship.
Say it one more time.
Own our ambassadorship. Being
Right.
ambassadors of those things that are in our lives, those things that create our character, and translating that in whatever medium that you use. And not just where it's literal, but you're sharing the story behind that piece, that work. Whatever it maybe is, we're all artists.
Right.
Even those that are not doing it intentionally, you don't realize that cooking food for your children is an art. My mother is Picasso, you know. I
Oh,
mean, you know, she's Gordon Ramsay, you know, she's Maya Angelou, She's the Jakes of the TD Jakes family. She's all those things that I have been blessed to see. And it's like, what they say, if you see me, you see her.
Yes.
If you see her, you see me. And that's real. That's what you're going to get. Own your story, own your narrative. Share that with anybody that's willing to listen. Don't wait for an audience.
Mm, mm. Now you're
Don't wait
saying
for
that
an
in a
audience.
social media age. You're saying that in a social media age where people are reliant solely
Yeah,
on their followers and likes, and you're saying it's not about that?
it's not about that. If you see me on social media, I use it as a vehicle, but not as a way of saying this is a way of getting approval.
Understood.
I don't have to share nothing. I
Yeah.
don't
Understood.
have to share a thing, but I know there's one person that needs to hear or see from someone that looks like me and looks like them.
I hear you. So, Daisy, let me ask you, what you're such a selfless person. So just to know, like Daisy's one of those community members that will send you just a random message of encouragement on a Thursday afternoon. But it makes me think, who checks on you? So I'm curious of one, how can you share some moments of your work being celebrated? Like what stands out to you when you have felt most seen for who you are and what you do?
um, well, this is a social media moment, and shout out to at Shaka on IG. This young lady, um, I met through social media on Instagram, through a group called Black Photographers on IG, and they do a thing just for Black women photographers. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
and I saw her work, and some kind of way we connected for the last year or so. And every now and then, this beautiful angel that I've never met in person, ever, 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 not even a phone call, will send a voice message in my DMs and say, Daisy, thank you for being in my life.
Mm.
And she'll say, thank you for being you. Um, Thank you for sharing your work. I admire your work, and I give everything that they're doing. I'm giving back, as you know.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not just taking it away.
No, you never do.
I always do it. Yeah. And every now and then, like you said, it'll be like a random day, and this child will send me a voicemail while I'm on the bus. Literally checking in. How are you and your family? How are you doing? Thank you for being you. I appreciate your um, encouragement
Yeah.
and commenting and all the like. These are little things that somebody's gonna be like, okay, well, but this is real. She doesn't have to do this. But when I tell you, it fills me up when she talks. Like, I don't know this person.
That's beautiful, Daisy. That is
Never met. It's like it's so real. And she'll be like, thank you. And I'm like, you are not gonna make me cry.
it. You're loved. You're and it makes me curious, Daisy, because I haven't met you're definitely one of a kind, but
Oh,
you
sis.
represent you but Baltimore is such a hub of artistic richness
Yes.
that I'm curious, can you describe for folks that are not from Baltimore, what is the artistic vibe of this city, from the
Ooh,
photographer, the designers, the rappers, the poets? Like, what, how do you, since you've been behind the lens, how do you
yeah.
describe artistry in Baltimore?
I will say it is real. It is authentic. is unapologetic. Um, Maybe 1% may feel this way, but if you know, you know, we
Mm-hmm.
don't care. As
Mm-hmm.
long as my people love it, I'm good.
Correct.
We don't need the person from Hollywood to say, "Oh my God, I need this. Could you? Would you?" It's
Mm,
like if Dion says, "Girl, you got something going on," be like, "All right, that's all
wow.
I need."
Receive.
Anything else is just a bonus. Anything else is just a bonus. But we are coming fully as ourselves. However, we want to interpret that or verbalize that or show that. And we recognize each other and we really do support each other.
We really
Like
instant.
Jim, like I don't have to know you from Adam, but if I see your work and be like, how can I support you?
That's it.
What can I do for you? Like I may not be the wealthiest person in the world, but I can share your work. I can tell somebody what you do.
Yes.
You never know who that somebody might be.
And there's only two
You
degrees of
never
separation
know.
in the city of Baltimore. Only 2 degrees. Everybody know the mayor and the governor. I'm like, between, like, we really should be able to solve all world problems. 2 degrees from separation in the city of Baltimore. Damn it. Like, for real. So
Seriously.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So in that, so here's my final question, but you can take it wherever you want, right? Because it's Dion's
Mm-hmm.
got a questions within a question. But I was taking notes as you've been talking. Um,
Uh-huh.
when people look at your body of work decades from now, so
Sure.
not presently, decades from now, what do you hope they feel?
Okay.
And what truth about Baltimore and about you do you want them to carry forward?
Mm. I hope that they feel, it could be a mini thing, and it might go over to the other question. I hope they feel that they are seen. I hope
Decades
they
from
feel
now,
seen.
you'll see, yes.
I just, we see you then and we see you now.
Mm,
We've been through this journey before that you may be going through right now. Take what you need.
mm.
What I would say, as far as what they would get from Baltimore, if we can do it, you can do it. Period. If we can do it, you can do it. If I can do it with limited resources growing up in West Baltimore, minding my business and just growing and learning and figuring it out.
But please finish your thought. Finish it, because the thing is, I don't. You had already got. I got chills when you were like, "We see you then, and we see you now." Gave
Yeah.
me a chill because it's like that long. What do they say? Like the long arm of history.
Yes.
Because I know where we've been.
Yes.
I see where you may be going, and you can take. So it's there's power. I don't know. It was just in that phrasing that made me feel like, oh shit, you
Yeah.
you're seen.
You're
I
seen. You
that's
are seen. We may not say it to you if we don't know you, but trust and believe we do see you. You're being acknowledged in people's work that you don't even know, because either they've observed you, they said hi to you, they saw
yeah,
you on the street, they saw you at a party. Somebody has seen you and they've taken that moment and incorporated into whatever masterpiece that's about to come up.
yeah, yeah,
From music to lyrics to art to word craft. to poetry, to that book, to that novel, to that
Mhm.
dissertation. You know,
Yes.
you are in the threading. You are important.
Oh, you are
Period.
important.
You're important.
Daisy, is there anything that you would like to say directly to anyone, to Baltimore as who she is, to
Hmm.
caregivers as who they are, to just that person who's walking these streets with a story, who may bump into somebody with a camera who's like, "Can I just take a picture of you real quick?" Which let me say there, I just had a conversation with my boys at an event, because for me, when I'm at events, my phone or my camera is my plus one.
Hmm.
But because I'm always taking pictures, as I've gotten older, I've realized how beautiful it feels when someone believes that you are worthy to take a photo of you.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes they don't realize that I just on a real quick, I was on my way home, and again, I just came across this dark beauty. She had to be in her 70s. No home, just sitting on a bench, and gorgeous, beautiful skin,
Mhm,
everything.
mhm,
And I said, would you mind if I take a picture of you, because I want you to be a part of this?
mhm.
And I took it and I showed it to her. I said, do you realize how beautiful you are? She ain't got a home, a door, a bed, or anything, but to acknowledge what I see.
Correct.
Now I want you to see it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what she may have gone with that,
Understood.
but that could have been the one powerful, positive thing that held her together for the rest of that day.
Yes, ma'am.
And so when it comes to Baltimore, again, being a home girl through and through, we are not who they say we are.
We are so
I
much.
don't care how they twist it from the president down. They can flag me if they want. We don't care who you are. We do not care who you are. These are our people. We belong together.
Mhm.
We're going to deal with this world in our own terms, in our own bubble, in our own community. Y'all figure out what y'all going to do.
Mhm.
But what's not going to happen, you're not bringing that down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Man, listen to that daddy's girl. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. Let me tell you. So, Daisy, before you go, how can people support your work, support your projects financially, or just spreading the word for the next thing that's coming? But how do they get in contact with, how do we keep Daisy Brown shining?
um, I'm on Instagram, which is where I do a lot of my sharing of my work, because number one, it's free. And I use it responsibly.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, you can find me at Date the Brown Girls Productions on Instagram. You'll see a lot of my work, a lot of my street photography there. You can always reach out to me there. I am self funded. I use my paycheck as my investment.
Wow.
Always have, always did, from when I was doing cupcakes till now. Um,
Yeah.
everything that I've done has been self funded. I'm hoping to work on grants, but anything that's given goes towards web costs, mainly submission fees. Oh, people, listen,
Yes,
I'm
please.
trying to be more active in the world of submitting things in other places of my work. And a lot of times they have fees
Mhm.
for either the images or the application, and those things add up. Sometimes, if it's something real deal and I want to be a part of it, I'm like,
That's the investment. Understood. And that was Daisy Brown. But wait, where is she? Daisy Brown. Come out and support this photographer and storyteller. This is hashtag my Be More. What's the 410? Peace.
I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. Even if it means you gotta leave me and you don't wanna be baby. Look, baby, I'm straight. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great.